Hi guys, Happy New Year. Hopefully 2021 will be a much better year from 2020. I mean, by all measures, it doesn't get even worse than what 2020 was. 2020 was the worst year that most of us will ever experience, so hopefully that's something of the past. I mean, I cannot imagine of anything worse happening unless maybe a world war, but or an asteroid, but hitting Earth. Hopefully, we won't have any of those. 2021 will be a year of us getting back to normal. And with that, I would like to get back to one of the topics I discussed in the past, which is how all the businesses, most of the businesses, took advantage of their employees. Many companies had to lay off workers. Some of them were justified and some were not. There's a big discussion here of what companies needed to do the layoffs. Not every company was affected the same, and for example, my company was not affected, and if it was affected, but it was affected positively. Our sales increased by 33%. Our online business grew by 70% during the months of the pandemic, which brings the question, why were so many people fired from my company? And I know for a fact that this is not something that only happened to my company. This is something that really frustrated me. There's no reason why somebody should be sentimental when it comes to work. I have mentioned that before in my channel. I'm an MBA student. I'm halfway through my MBA, and the very first thing that I learned on the very first class is that any business is, the main purpose of any business is to create wealth for its owners. And in my business, the business that I'm working in as an employee, this is the first thing I realized. With the beginning of the pandemic, and everybody started laying off workers. They thought it would be a good idea to get rid of some, and the rest would have to work double the amount of time and double the effort to cover for the positions that were lost. And what would they do? What would I do, for example? Thank God I'm not in a position where I have debts. I have zero debt, but at the same time, I do need my job to survive. So I got trapped in this continuous circle of effort. More time, more effort, and just being thankful that I have a job. Honestly, I stopped giving a damn about my employer, my managers. They all put us in this position where we are all trapped, and we continue trying and trying and trying just to keep our jobs, and they take advantage of what's going on. So 2021 for me will be a year where I have zero tolerance on things that annoy me, zero tolerance on things that hurt me, zero tolerance on BS. The older I get, the more I grow up, and I realize that now in my mid-30s, I get less tolerant on things that annoy me. You realize that the clock is ticking at this age, and even though there's plenty of time ahead, hopefully, you realize that the average American lives between 75 and 80. I'm 35, which means I'm halfway my life, most likely. So I don't want to waste the other half of my life. If there's anything that the pandemic taught us, is that we need to be prepared. And when I say prepared, I don't mean only in toilet paper, famously, or food, but financially. The main thing is that so many people got into more debt to buy the basics at the beginning of the pandemic, where the prices went up. It's important to build your finances in this way, where you guys, if something happens, it's not only about if something happens. It really is how it makes you feel. Knowing that if something happens, you have something to fall on. And if you have a bad boss, or you work in a bad company, and you don't need to take that crap anymore, you can just get out. I am not in that position, and I'm feeling really bad about some of my choices, my past choices. And I was never a big spender, and especially in the late years. But life happens. I am a single dad. I have a daughter. She's 5. I need to support her, not only financially but emotionally. So I have to be there. The time is getting limited. On top of working, on top of being a student, I'm also a single dad. So every moment I have with my daughter is a moment I treasure. And but this brings my availability, my available time to do other things, to a very bare minimum, unless I start losing sleep now. I used to do that back in the day when I was working on my bachelor's degree. But that was in my 20s. Now in my 30s, you guys know it's 9 o'clock and I'm already sleepy. So it's hard. But I want to make the sacrifices. My New Year's resolution is that I'm not going to take any more crap by anyone. I'm going to do anything necessary to succeed. I'm almost done creating my small emergency fund, and from that point on, probably next month, I'm going to start really investing and start building wealth. And hopefully by the half of next year, the second half of next year, hopefully I will be a homeowner as well. How you feel inside, you cannot put a price tag on that. And whatever it takes, you should do it. Always think how your future self will think about your current self. It's little things that we do sometimes. When I have time at work and I'm in the office, so my time is dedicated to work and there's nothing else I can do, if I finish my tasks, I always go to the next task, thinking always how my future self will thank my current self. It's important to be able to be you. It's important to be able to do you, and not have to smile every time your manager makes a nasty comment or a bad joke. It's important to have the freedom to think loudly without really caring about the status quo of your company or the likes of your manager or your boss. I would love to hear your thoughts about this subject. Do you ever feel trapped? Do you ever feel that you want to just drop the mic and leave your work and you can't because you didn't bring yourself into that position to be able to do that? I would love to hear what you think. What's the kind of frustrations that you have at work? Obviously, I am very frustrated. And again, I do have a very decent job. Many people would love to be in my position, and I still cannot take it. So please let me know. Please let me know what you guys think, what your position, what your frustration is. I would love to hear it. Comments below. Thank you so much. Bye.